A non-governmental organization, Yaga Africa, has called on legislators to leverage the new media, including digital and social media platforms, in influencing public perception. This is to help rebuild citizens' trust in the legislature and, by extension, governmental activities. The organization made the call in Lagos at a three-day retreat for the House Committee, Media and Public Affairs.
This retreat is very fundamental to the operations of the House of Representatives. The reason being that the legislature does a lot, but public perception becomes important. And if you see the misconceptions of the public about the functions of the legislature, it tells you that there is that need to build the capacity of members of this committee to be able to engage constructively with the public. It is one thing to be performing legislative functions, it's another thing to put information out there. If you look at misinformation and maybe fake news everywhere about the nature of the legislature we have in Nigeria today, it tells you that there is that need to create synergy between the legislature and the constituents, to create that accountability mechanisms where the legislature will receive feedback from the public and then build the image of the legislature again before the people who have the ultimate mandate.
Mr. Akintunde Rotimi, Chairman House Committee, Media and Public Affairs, said the task of the legislators was to manage and build an identity and image that could enable them function effectively.
For us, it's a number of objectives. Number one, of course, to build capacity of members, to be able to address historical reputational deficits that you've had from the Assembly, that the National Assembly has had over the years. We believe that many of these issues, many of these perceptions are inaccurate, and we are building our capacity to be able to better address these issues, and more importantly, also improve our capacity to engage more proactively with our various publics, because it's a critical part of our legislative agenda: inclusion, open governance, and to be very proactive in engaging with members of the public. Another point again is that as part of our retreat, we're also having critical engagements with many stakeholders that would give us the opportunity to also hear from them and get feedback from them on how they see the Assembly and areas in which we can improve. Overall, what you'll find is that this committee of the 10th Assembly, we are very, very resolute about the fact that we want to address perception issues around the National Assembly and ensure that we have greater open lines with Nigerians so they know what we're doing, and we're able to get greater feedback to feed into the legislative process.
Mr. Lanre Arogundade, Executive Director, International Press Center, said perception of citizens was a challenge the legislature would need to manage effectively in their rebranding process.
The session we've had where we're looking at the new media and its role in managing public opinion has enabled us to address some important facts. One, that the public perception of the National Assembly itself is not one that you can say they can be proud of, because it's actually negative. A lot of people don't know what is going on. There are a lot of assumptions. People don't know that there are a lot of work they do that could be in the public interest. And so we've been emphasizing to them the need for them to recognize that there is currently a negative public perception, and therefore they need to do a lot to improve on that, primarily through good legislation. And I'm glad that many of them are in agreement with that.
I think that the presentation by Chief Arigundade was quite apt. He has highlighted the issues, and we encapsuled the issues, believing that after this retreat, most of those issues will be dealt with. Issues as to regular presentation of what is going on in the House to the press, both to the print and social media, so that they'll be able to capture blow by blow what is going on in the House, and then to also ensure that we have continuous engagement with not only the media, not only the press, but also with Nigerians, so that Nigerians will know what is done in the People's Parliament.